Hello, this is Miss Renzi, and this is the pre-recorded lesson for May 18th and 19th, so Monday and Tuesday. If you were unable to make it to the live Zoom, this video will show you what you need to do for the lesson, and if you would like a audio recording of the readings out loud, this video will also do that. Okay, let's get started. So today we are beginning a new unit. It's really hard to start a new unit remotely, so this might not work super well, but we're going to do the best we can. So the last ancient civilization that we study in the 6th grade is ancient Rome, and we're going to start talking about Rome today. So we're going to start out with sort of questioning what we already know about Rome in a brainstorm form. We're going to talk about the differences between Greece and Rome. If you don't know the differences, that's fine. A lot of people, grown people, don't really know the difference between Rome and Greece. So we're going to talk about some of the reasons why that might be. And then I'm going to preview today's work. So if you were in the live Zoom, I would ask you, what are some words, facts, people, places that you already know about in Rome? And I would ask you to type them in the chat box. You are always welcome to text or email me your brainstormed facts, words, people, places. You can text me at 617-804-1403. You certainly don't need to, but you can. And some of the most common answers that I get during this brainstorm are usually, I know about gladiators, right? I know about the people who fought to the death in the Colosseum in armed combat, the gladiators. That's the most common thing people know about. Another thing people sometimes know about is Julius Caesar, right? He's a guy, I know he's a Roman. And most kids have heard of the Roman Empire, even if they don't know what that means or where it was or when it was or who was in it, they've sort of heard of the Roman Empire. If you personally have more background knowledge than that, that's fantastic. But if you don't have more background knowledge than that, it's totally fine. We sort of start from the beginning and then we work our way out in complexity. So one question that I really want you to be able to know the answer to, where is Rome and how close is it to Greece? So I'm trying to move a picture of myself around here so that you can see the caption. So where is Rome and how close is it to Greece? So on this slide, you can see that Greece is that nation that we were studying for so long, for weeks and weeks and weeks. It's in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea, and it's a very messy archipelago, right? It's a bunch of islands and peninsulas sticking out into Mediterranean Sea. And Rome is not in Greece, but it's pretty nearby. On a plane nowadays, it's probably a 45-minute flight, right? So Rome is in Italy. Greece is in Greece, right? There's still a country named Greece. Rome is in the country of Italy, and Italy is shaped like a high-heeled boot sticking out into the Mediterranean Sea, kicking the triangular island of Sicily like a soccer ball. Okay. Italy is really easy to find on a map because it's the only country shaped like a high-heeled boot sticking out into the Mediterranean Sea. In ancient times, Rome was both the name of the city and the nation. Nowadays, Rome is just the city and the nation is called Italy. So it's a little different from Greece, where Greece is the name of the country and all the little city-states in Greece are part of Greece. Rome was the name of the city and the country. Why do I keep getting Rome and Greece confused? So grown adults with college educations don't know the difference between Rome and Greece. So we're just going to talk about why that is. Why in the USA Today, a lot of people don't know the difference between Rome and Greece. Well, there's a few different reasons. Of course, the most important reason before I start my list is that it all happened a really long time ago. And most people don't really care, to be honest. But there are some really actual good reasons why, even if you did care, you might get them mixed up. So the first answer is the clothes. So here I am, I have to move my little screen around again. Greeks and Romans both wore a similar white garment. Nowadays, if you went to a toga party at a college, it just means you're dressing in a white sheet, right? They both wore these really drapey long garments that we call togas today. And that makes it really hard to tell the difference between them in pictures or art. So if you see a sculpture or a picture of an ancient Greek or Roman person, it could be a little hard at first to tell if it's Greek or Roman because they dress the same. Reason number 2 is the religion. So I'm going to try to move myself over here in the corner. So Greeks and Romans both had a very similar religion, and they both believed in the Olympian gods that we studied last week. They called those gods by different names, actually by more familiar names, because the Roman names for their gods are what we actually use for our planets. So the Greek god Zeus with the lightning bolts, he's known in Rome as Jupiter. He's the same guy, but he's just got a different name. And his name, Jupiter, also happens to be the name of the biggest planet. Another situation that's similar is Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty. Same goddess, but in Rome, she was called Venus, also the name of the planet Venus. And then finally, the Greek god Ares of war is the Roman god Mars, the red planet. Most of the planets are named after Roman gods. The only one that is not named after a Roman god is Earth. Earth is named after a Germanic deity named Eartha. Long story, we won't get into it. Okay, let's keep going. A third reason why people often get Rome and Greece mixed up is because of the buildings. Romans and Greeks shared a lot of the same architectural building styles. And they both like to make their buildings out of white marble. So it can be hard to tell the difference. A really huge difference is that the Romans perfected the use of the arch. So if you look at the Parthenon in Athens, it's all triangles and columns, no arches. The Colosseum in Rome, which is the famous arena where the gladiators fought each other, is made up of arches. So if you see arches, it's probably Roman. If you see triangles and columns but no arches, it's probably Greek. But they're both going to be made out of white marble, and they're probably going to look pretty similar to most people. Last one, I promise. Answer number 4 is the relationship. So Romans and Greeks lived pretty close to each other, and they had a lot of contact. A lot of elements of their cultures are just very similar. And I think the easiest way of explaining their relationship was it's kind of like the relationship between the United States and England or Great Britain, right? We're different countries in different places, but we share so many things, so many TV shows, so many books, so many, just all kinds of elements of culture are the same, so that you might hear a song on the radio and not even know that the person singing it is English. Like if you like Adele, she's English, right? If you like Harry Potter, that's English, right? So there's so many things in our culture that are actually from England, and there's so many things in England that are actually American, and there's a lot of intersection. And that's how it was in Rome and Greece too. So that even if you lived back then, you might not know if something was a Roman author or a Greek author. Okay, so today's work is a read and respond. It's called Introduction to Rome. It's 3 short passages that will introduce you to what Rome is and why we study it. It's about the legacy of Rome, so the gifts that the Romans left behind. For each passage, you're going to respond to a short comprehension question. It's very similar to the work I've given you in past weeks, where it doesn't take very long as you are reading and understanding the passage. So if you would like me to read aloud the passages for you, that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to show you the form and read aloud the passages. Let's do that. So I'm going to escape the slideshow so that I can get into the form. Here it is. It's 518, 519, Introduction to Rome. It's posted in my Google Classroom with this video. And I'm going to go ahead and read these passages and the questions for those of you who benefit from that. So the directions say, read the passage below and then answer this question. Think of one legacy that your ancestors have left you. It could be a physical object, but try to think of a cultural legacy that your grandparents, other family, or friends who are gone now have left you. So here is the text read aloud. Introduction to Rome. Today, students study the Romans in ancient history classes all over the world. Rome is pictured in famous movies, books, and TV shows. Rome is still famous even though the Roman Empire fell almost 2,000 years ago. But why? What makes this ancient civilization so special, and why should we care about it at all? The answer is all about Rome's legacy to modern times. A legacy is a gift that we give to the future. It certainly can be objects, like a precious jewel, for example, but usually the most valuable legacies from the past are ideas and inventions. In the case of the Romans, their legacy to us includes both ideas and inventions. So many things that seem truly essential to your daily life were first thought of and developed by the Romans. We owe so much to the Romans, from the design of our buildings to the design of our government, all the way to the design of our plumbing. Okay. So you would have read that passage and then answer the question, which is to think of one legacy that your ancestors have left to you. The second passage asks, read the passage below and then answer this question. According to the text, why was the perfection of the arch so important to engineering? All right, let's read about the Roman legacy of engineering. Above all, the Romans were practical thinkers. They were not dreamy philosophers like the Greeks or obsessed with the afterlife like the Egyptians. Romans were concerned with being number one in the here and now. They were very inventive, particularly in terms of building new inventions, also known as the process of engineering. For example, the Romans invented plumbing. If it hadn't been for the Romans, you might not be able to take a shower or flush the toilet. One engineering innovation of the Romans was the perfection of the arch, rounded doorways or windows that can support great weight above them. The Romans did not invent the arch, but they figured out a way to make arches hold incredible amounts of weight. This, in addition to the invention of concrete, made the Romans able to build huge structures undreamed of before then, including tunnels that could transport water through pipes, bridges that could cross large rivers, and 7-story apartment buildings. Two of the most famous examples of Roman engineering that depended on the arch were aqueducts, long bridges that carried water from the mountains to the city, and the Colosseum, a massive stadium open to the air. You'll notice under this passage, you'll notice it says option 1. I'm going to go in and fix that so that there are lines to write an open response. My bad. All right, passage number 3. Read the passage below and then answer the following question. Can you think of an example of a person, event, or activity in modern life that proves we have a republic according to the definition in the text? The Roman legacy of language and culture. Perhaps more important than the Romans' legacy of engineering was the legacy they have left to us of their culture. The very letters of the alphabet that you are reading right now are Roman letters. The language they spoke, Latin, is the basis of most academic language. In addition, the Romans invented the type of government we practice today in the United States of America, what is called a republic. A republic is a type of government in which citizens vote for their leaders who make and enforce the laws. The Romans eventually lost their republic and they became an empire led by an emperor, but we got the idea for a republic from them. So many other parts of our culture have also been based off Roman ideas, like our educational system, our libraries, our art, and our architecture. It can be hard to see at first, but once you learn more about the Romans, you will see their legacy all around you. Okay. So I hope that you have been able to understand this lesson and now feel ready to do the read and response. Please do not forget to press submit when you are done. And if you need any help, feel free to email me or text at 617-804-1403. Okay, thank you.